That's the picture of Clinton and I on our 50th anniversary.
And what year was that?
That was, let's see, we were married in 40, so that was 1990.
1990, and where were you?
And, well, we had that taken at Olin Mills, that picture. And we had a party in Ross's yard. There was a lot of our Florida friends and a lot of people, relatives and everything. Do I talk now?
This is a great time.
That's a picture of Clinton's graduation.
Of high school or college?
High school graduation.
And so he was probably about 18?
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
What high school?
He graduated in Sunfield. That's my graduation picture. I graduated in Lake Odessa.
Were you the prettiest girl in your class?
Oh, I thought it was a terrible picture.
But you look at it now and you realize that you were really good looking. Very good looking. So what year was that?
That was 39.
And where was the school?
Well, Lake Odessa. I graduated Lake Odessa High School. Oh, that's our wedding picture. And the little flower girls are Jeanne and Joyce McMillen. And the who stood up with us is Clint's brother Bernard and my girlfriend Florence Foreman.
And where did this take place?
This was in my home, my folks' home.
In Lake Odessa? No?
No, in Woodland.
In Woodland.
I made my wedding dress and veil.
Looks like a lot of fun.
Do you still have them, or did any
I don't know if I have or not. I might have tossed the darn thing out. That's Clinton and I and our wedding cake.
Chocolate?
I think it was white, probably.
I threw this one in there because I very seldom see women holding up the deer that they got.
That was Clinton and I each got a deer that year. I got mine first, and he kept saying he was waiting for bigger horns, and he waited and he waited and he waited. I thought he wasn't going to get any, and finally the last day, it was almost dark, he got one with a big rack on it.
So where was this?
This, oh heavens, I don't know, east of Gaylord. Let's see. Yeah, I was out east of Gaylord, the woods out that way.
Did you have kids at that time?
Oh yeah, that was, we lived up in, that was when we moved to Gaylord, and the kids were, Wayne was 5 and Ross was 10 or 11. Ross was 10 or 11 when we moved to Gaylord. Oh, that is Clinton's grandmother and Clinton. It's a 4-generation picture. His grandmother, his mother, and Clinton and Ross.
And where was this picture taken?
That was back, let's see, back where we lived, I guess.
What were their names?
Oh, Grandma Hager and Hazel Dodge and Clinton Dodge and Ross. Well, this is Clinton and Wayne when he was a baby. This was at home there.
So were they both pretty babies?
Well, we thought they were. We were thought they were the best there was.
I like that.
As Clinton's got Ross on the tractor.
So was Clinton farming at that time?
Yes. I remember one time we got a new tractor, and I had to tow the car with the tractor, and then I brought the tractor back, and I couldn't, I didn't know how to stop it. There was no switch or anything to shut off. And I went in and woke Ross up. He was only 4 years old. I woke him up, and he came out and showed me how to shut the tractor off. He never missed a trick. Oh, that's Wayne when he was, oh gosh, about 4 years old. He was a cutie.
You looked like he was a all blonde head.
Oh, yes, he was. He could hardly wait till his hair turned dark. He thought in order to grow up, he had to have dark hair. I had to point out some famous people with blonde hair. That's Ross. I don't know what age he was, probably 11 or 12.
And you were living where?
Well, that's when after we moved up to Gaylord. Oh,
This skips a few years.
yeah. Clinton and I and Ross and Wayne. I don't know how old they were then. I don't think Wayne was out of high school yet. Maybe neither one of them. Let's see who we got here. Clinton and I and Heather. Oh, I know. The 3 Heathers came down to visit us in Florida. All 3 girls' names were Heather. And she drove down with the 3 girls, and they stayed with us a week or so. Yeah, that's Michael, and when they went to have his picture taken, he was right at the drooling age, and they didn't have a bib for him, they didn't have a change of clothes, so they just had to go ahead and take the picture. Yeah, I can't hardly tell.
This is at a reunion, I think.
Oh, Ross and Mary Ann, and Chris, and Clinton, and Heather, and I, and little Lindsay. Well, there's Heather, and that's Amy and Lindsay, and that must be
Is it Wayne in the background?
Uncle Wayne. Yeah, must be Uncle Wayne. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we switch back to some historic photographs. So now you have to dig back a little bit to see if you can figure out who these are.
Well, I know this is my dad and his old truck.
And where's he at?
Well, that's probably at home on the farm near Woodbury. But it was before I don't remember that far back. It was before my time, maybe, I don't know.
How about this group?
Oh, this is a club my mother belonged to. This is all the ladies in her birthday club.
And she's
I know. There's my mother.
and she's clear to the right side, second
Yes,
row.
and then Ines Foreman, Eva Stoll. I can't name names anymore. Anyhow, I know them all, but there's Sophie King.
What was
I
the purpose of the club?
Oh, I don't know. It was West Woodland Birthday Club. It was just a social thing. They called it a birthday club. I don't know why they call it a birthday club, but it was just a social group.
And my understanding is the women would hold it at each other's house,
Yes.
and they had to clean their house from top to bottom before the social club came over.
Yeah, when we lived at the lake, my mother had it out, outside. We fixed up the picnic table outside, and the women would come.
I can remember you papering Grandma's house.
Oh, I suppose.
Wallpaper.
How about this motley-looking crew?
Oh, this is an old picture. There's my grandmother.
She's in the center, the back
and
row.
There's my Aunt Mary.
And that Aunt Mary, her last name was Richards, right?
Aunt Mary Catherine.
Or Catherman?
Aunt Mary Catherine,
Cathermans or Fishers or
I guess. And then that's Aunt Anna.
Anna's
Anna
clear to the
Christian.
right. Okay.
And these are old uncles. I know one's uncle's. It looks like my dad there. I don't know. Anyhow, I have on the back of that picture is the names of those
Right.
old uncles, great uncles.
How about this one?
Oh, this is my mother.
It's in the center to the back,
Yes, and my dad holding
in the middle.
Arlene, and Aunt Florence and Uncle Bill, and one of his kids, Carl or somebody. My grandmother Richard, and Uncle Winnie Richard,
Uncle Winnie.
and he's holding one of his kids. And let's see up front. There's Gerald. Rio must be. Oh, there's Rio.
Sitting on the other side of Grandpa Mac's lap.
Yes. And Keith is down here someplace, but I don't know which one is Keith. Gerald and
Probably that one.
probably Keith. And that's all I.
Do you know where that picture was taken or anything?
Since I wasn't even born yet, I don't know.
This is a little early for you.
Oh, this is Lee Fickus's wedding, Lee and June's wedding, and that's my mother on the right, and June's mother, and no, that's Lee's grandmother, and this is June's mother and dad.
I like this picture. This is of the boys.
This is all my brothers. Gerald and Rio and Rex and Keith and Maru and Don.
Do you know where that picture was taken?
Not really.
Kind of looks like the 50s, isn't it? About 50s, maybe 60s?
Well, earlier than that, probably. Probably about that, yeah.
This is one of my favorite pictures of you guys.
Well, 3 girls, the only 3 girls in the family, Arlene and Helen and I.
And where was this one taken?
That was at my house, my mobile home in Grand Ledge, I guess.
Did you guys ever do anything that you got in trouble for?
I don't recall.
You were just like good kids, you never did anything wrong? I hear all these stories of Joyce and my mom.
Well, at this age, when we all had families and grandchildren, we behaved ourselves pretty much.
How about when you were growing up?
Oh, we had to toe the mark pretty much growing up. We didn't dare swear or anything. I know once Arlene provoked me so. I was just a kid. She provoked me so. I called her a darn fool, real loud. And my mother was out in the garden, and she heard me, and she says, "Donna, bring me the soap." And I had to do it, of course. Well, that's Arlene. I don't know where she is.
Yep.
Some of her travels back and forth to California. Well, this is at in Florida at Rio and Bessie's cottage. We had a get-together, family get-together, and Alan's helping himself to some dessert, I think. Well, Clinton and Betty are turning chicken.
Yep. And the funny thing is, if you look at their hands, there's no way they're going to be able to turn the chicken with the position their hands are in.
I know it.
One has to go one way and the other goes the other way. So
Betty's got her hands wrong.
Yeah. This is one that would be great to have on video because the next few steps after this were very awkward for them. Okay, because I think I'm the one that took that picture and it was so funny.
Now this was at Lou and Betty's 50th anniversary, and this is our group. I don't know, I guess that's Alan, Don, myself, Keith, Helen, Rio, and LaRue.
And where was that at?
That was at the basement of the church, their church in Lake Odessa.
How many times do you suppose you got together as brothers and sisters, you know, after you were all grown like that? I mean,
Well,
you all had your families. I mean, hundreds of times. It must
We
have
were
been.
pretty clanny.
Yes, you were.
Yeah. This is Don, myself, and Keith, and Helen, and Gerald, and Rio. I think that was at, that was probably down at Gerald Mercedes mobile home in Florida.
In Florida. I love that picture of Clinton.
Clint had this all-terrain vehicle, and Elizabeth's mother came to visit us, and so he's taking her for a ride.
But you know, I growing up, I saw Clinton smoking that pipe, you know, and he'd be smiling and smoking that pipe, and he'd be doing everything.
Yeah.
And just, you know, so that's an image that I have in my mind.
Yeah.
Now this is one I was surprised to see because I didn't know what kind of uniform that was or what he was doing.
Well, he was a enforcement officer for Michigan Public Service Commission.
So what kind of stuff did he do? Did he pull over trucks, for instance,
Oh yeah,
and do that kind of stuff?
his specifically trucks. He could pull cars over too, but mostly it was trucks.
And so how he worked up until how old when he retired?
Let's see, he had a heart attack. Boy, I can't get my time straightened out. And anyhow, he had to retire after that, and then he had open heart surgery.
Do you remember when they put radios in his car? They, if I remember the story right, they didn't used to have radios in the cars that they drove. And so when they put radios in, Clint was really mad because then they would know when he was off fishing. That's his story. I don't exactly remember that.
They had radar equipment in their car. I used to laugh. A couple of guys that talked together and talk about clocking a tree going 50 miles an hour.
Now is this your boat? Did you guys have a boat?
Yeah, this is a pontoon that Clinton built.
I remember riding on that boat, I think.
Yeah, he'd called it Slowpoke. Got the name up on it, Slowpoke, S-L-O-P-O-K-E.
And where's the lake?
I guess it was Jordan. I don't know, Jordan Lake?
And he built the pontoon himself.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
He bought the pontoon and built it.
He was very handy.
Yeah, and he wanted to make something. He was determined to get at it and do it. Oh, this was in Greece. We all went to Greece for for Elizabeth's mother's 80th birthday, and they had balloons all over and everything.
Looked like it was a surprise
Wayne's
party.
doing something goofy here, and everybody's laughing at him.
This jumps back a few years, but it looks like a whole big stringer of fish.
Oh yeah, we'd gone fishing with friends of ours, Gerald Richards and his wife, and Clinton and I, and the kids were just little there, Ross and Wayne.
But looks like you had 50 fish on there.
Yeah, we got lots of fish. We ate lots of fish while we were there and took a lot of home.
Where's the cabin?
It seemed like it was up by Ludington or someplace. We went and rented a cabin.
And here's the whole group.
Yeah, that's the same group.
This one has the
That
women
little
in.
jacket I made for Ross, and they had jackets alike, but Wayne didn't have his on. Oh, this was some play that Clinton was in before I knew him, before I had met him. Oh, his friends.
Was he actually Scottish ancestry, the Dodge family?
No, there was some play in school.
Well, it's kind of unusual that here he is in a kilt and then he marries somebody with a Scottish ancestry.
Yeah, isn't that something? And Bob Bishop.
Now, this is what I remember growing up.
Well,
This is at your lake house, right?
yeah, and we had a get together with all the relatives, cousins, and everybody.
This is the only one you ever had like that, right?
Probably that big a bunch.
That was huge.
Mm-hmm.
I remember camping out here and several 4th of Julys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, this was back at LaRue and Betty's 50th anniversary when we were all sitting there. And that's Arlene when she wasn't very well because she's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
The kids are little.
But this is some of her grandchildren in Palm Desert.
Yes.
And this is the final photograph.
With a big Rex there in the middle. Gerald and Rio and I and Keith and Rex. Arlene and Helen and LaRue. Did I miss anybody?
Don.
Oh yeah, that's Don back there.
And then where was this one at?
That was probably we used to all go up at Sunrise Lake to our old cottage, old cabin we had up there. So that's probably where it was.
Well, that was a great group of people there, isn't it?
We used to take our campers and go up there.
I can remember going up to your house in Gaylord. I believe it wasn't going mushroom hunting a lot.
Yes.
Every year. And I don't remember, what did you do? What kind of work were you in? You worked in the school, for the schools?
I worked at the school. I cooked for my school, one of the satellite schools.
And I can remember also going to Grange meetings. You did a lot of quilting. Did you quilt? I know you bowled, right?
Yeah, I bowled. And I tied off. I didn't quilt. I really just tied off
And
anything I made.
when I was at the store yesterday, I noticed a man putting probably 700 pounds of sugar in his back of his car. And I can remember during the war, you had a lot of sugar, and you said you wanted to hurry up and buy it before the hoarders got it. Do you remember that?
Well, it was during the war. We had what do we have? What do you call them? Stamps, coupons,
Yes, coupons, stamps,
yeah,
tokens.
Something that we could buy so much sugar. I used to save my sugar for canning, and we used honey mostly for sweetening and things like that.